Hi everyone, Dr. Liz here. Today's video is 3 signs of a bad therapist. Now, I may throw in a couple more just so you know, but I want to get these top 3 out there. All right, you may call a therapist and feel good on the phone, but then in person it feels a little bit different or something. That sometimes happens, or you think that they're a good fit in the phone and then they don't actually do much, like you don't get better. Okay, so I have a whole nother video about how to break up with a therapist, right? So you might want to give that one a view if that applies to you. But right now, yeah, if you have any of these signs of a bad therapist, you need to watch the other one too, how to break up with them, all right? So I have a few notes here, which is why I'm looking to the side. One is that they text in session. Okay, now I am a therapist. This actually happened to me with somebody that I took my daughter to, where the first time it happened, I thought, well, maybe that's an exception. I'm going to give her one more shot. And then she did it again the next session, and I was like, okay, this is a pattern, right? No therapist should be texting in session. And believe me, when I told her this, she got very defensive. And it's like, yeah, because you know you shouldn't be texting in session, all right? Now, it's one thing to grab your phone if you're trying to give somebody a resource, like sometimes a book that I want to send them and I want to make sure I get the title right, something like that, but not texting, all right? So that's one. Another one is affection. Okay, now this may vary around the world, but in the US, we do not typically give a lot of affection to our clients, particularly if we have not asked permission. So again, depends what kind of work you're doing. If you're doing work with a therapist who does a lot of like hands-on, you should know that before you go in, all right? But even like a hug or something like that, if a client asks for a hug, then it's like, yes, I can give that. But your therapist should not be initiating hugs, okay, with you, really. If you have a therapist that's like, oh, I'm a hugger, and just hugs you, no. Unless you really like that, of course. But if like you have a therapist like that and it makes you uncomfortable, you either need to tell them immediately, like, no hugs, please. That makes me really uncomfortable. Or if you don't feel like you can do that, find another therapist, all right? Because they shouldn't be making you feel uncomfortable in that way, all right? Therapy is hard work sometimes, and emotional stuff comes up, and that gets uncomfortable for people, but that's part of therapy. Uncomfortable affection? Absolutely not. Or if they're making like sexual comments in any kind of shape or form, no. That's like, get the fuck out of there, okay? Am I allowed to curse in these? I think I am. All right, get out of there. If there's any kind of like sexual innuendo going on, like absolutely not. That's a boundary issue. It's a violation. You have my full permission to ghost them. Just like never respond to the calls, don't make another appointment, cancel the one you have already scheduled, and disappear. Find another therapist, all right? Let's see. Doesn't understand your circumstances. So if they truly you don't feel like they truly understand what you're going through, then that may be something to consider, all right? Now, I ask a lot of clarifying questions so I can get a good idea of what someone's going through, and I often say that I want to make sure I understand this. But if you constantly feel misunderstood, sign of a bad therapist, all right? In the same vein, someone who doesn't ask the right questions, okay? Or any questions, all right? I had a friend who went to a therapist who said she didn't ask them any questions, like 0. And I'm like, what? Like, how'd she even get to know you? And they're like, well, I basically had to talk the whole time. Or they would just, I call them like the grunter, right? I had another friend, this was like 20 years ago or something, who said like his therapist would just go, yeah, well, like again, no questions. He had to generate everything. And unless you're in like psychoanalysis or something, you know, that's a whole nother vein. But if you're just seeing like a regular therapist these days, they should be asking good questions. In fact, I consider my whole job to ask good questions. That's my whole job, to ask good questions, all right? Because if I'm not asking good questions, I don't get the understanding that I need to be able to help someone. If you don't like answering questions, then perhaps you should consider like different forms of therapy that don't require that, all right? But typically, that's it. All right. Only focuses on surface goals. This is the last one. Okay, I think we have gone beyond 3, right? Only focuses on surface goals. not really like deeper things that you want to accomplish. Now, if you're going in for surface goals, great, but often that falls into like coaching versus therapy. I don't know. Um, yeah, I do some good coaching as well. But that's more like, yeah, did you get XYZ done? Okay, now this is sort of different if, let's say, you have ADHD and you're going to a therapist and you want to work on like executive function and that type of thing. You're going to have to expect some coaching there, right? But now they actually even have like ADHD coaches that help you work on that, that they differentiate from therapists. That's a little overlap there. I don't know. But if you feel like you're never talking about what you want to talk about, like the deeper stuff, and you really want to talk about deeper stuff, then that's a sign that maybe you're not a good match. Okay, that's not necessarily a sign of a bad therapist, but maybe you're not a good match. So I hope that helps someone out today. You can find out more about me as a therapist at drlizhypnosis.com. So go visit over there. They've got free stuff and blog posts and all that good stuff over there. And subscribe wherever that little bell is. And have a wonderful day. Peace.